Hello, and welcome to the TBI podcast, Those Bored Individuals. What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the TBI podcast.
Yeah. Oh.
Summer is in full swing, and like we brought up last time, I and Rowan and Dudley have now received our first vaccination. So that's one step closer to immortality.
You know, we get mine now.
I just said we wouldn't die of corona.
Yeah. We're not dying. We're gonna live forever.
I didn't say that.
Ah.
Props to whoever gets that reference.
Yes. So, how have you guys been since the last podcast?
Doing alright. My college is finished. I've received my certification. I can finally put that whole nightmare behind me.
Hey.
Nice.
I'm now going to take a year to recover.
Oh,
Wow, a whole gap year.
Yep.
Hmm.
Just until this whole pandemic thing settles down. Education hasn't been at its best.
Yeah, I understand.
Gap year after college is blissful. I envy you.
Wow.
I'm just sitting out the window looking at all those kids going to school like,
Yeah.
you're going back to school and I'm not.
I know that.
Well, with people receiving their vaccinations, some their first, some their second, things are slowly beginning to return back to normal. And as a result, my parents are currently in Portugal celebrating their silver anniversary, so... Yep, so anything I say now, they'll have no input on, so...
Okay.
So, have you guys done anything interesting recently?
Well, I went on holiday not that long ago, a few weeks ago, so that's good.
Yes, and you've begun your training as evidenced by your videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
More to come.
yeah. Dudley, what about you?
Well, I feel like I had a lot to say coming into this podcast, and now I've gone blank. But I've had like a barbecue or two, and
Ooh.
it's been typical seeing new shows and all this and that. So
Taking her easy.
Yes. Summer barbecues. Amazing.
It's been a good first summer for this one.
I haven't had a barbecue in so long.
Oh, you're missing out, Michael. So in terms of things that have happened recently, I actually do have a few stories that I would like to bring up. So, one day, I was out walking Oscar in our local Pokemon Go route, and we were stopping at a gym when these two this man and woman couple they were walking by us, and just from looking at them I can tell that they lived in the rougher parts of town. So they look like they haven't showered in 3 weeks basically, and so I just continued on with my business until the woman said, "Your dog needs a haircut." That says a lot coming from you, madam. Oscar, my dog is a schnauzer. He's meant to look that hairy. Jeez.
Aaron's relative returns.
So, yeah, that happened. I was like, "Your dog needs a haircut." "Well, yeah, so do you, madam." But in terms of people like that, I think in recent years it's been getting ridiculous. It's getting to the point now where I'm encountering entitled Karens in my dreams.
Oh,
No.
must be thinking about them a lot.
Yeah, because I've wanted to bring this story up for a while. So here I go. So this happened a few weeks ago. I was one night I was dreaming, and it was a fairly casual dream, just me walking down the street, and all of a sudden, this entitled Karen walks past, and she started. I can't remember what she said, but I remember her saying things like, "Oh, youngins these days, you don't know what's good for you," and stuff like that. And my way of thinking is, if somebody gets on my nerves by doing something I don't approve of 3 times, then I take action. So,
Oh,
not that I,
Strike rule.
yeah, not that I do that often, but if in extreme cases, that's what I do. Just 3 strikes and you're out, basically. And so I waited for her to say something insulting for the 3rd time, and um, and so as soon as she said that, I was like, "All right, that's it." And so I remember saying something pretty insulting, which I'm not gonna say, but you can use your imagination. And so
Cheeky.
And so the Karen immediately gets furious, and so I immediately round the corner 2 times, uh, and as I'm running away, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh crap! If she catches up to me, I'm gonna be in for a beating. And so I just thought, what do I do? What do I do? And I just concentrated, and I was like, oh, I know, zoop, and I woke up. You can't touch me now, Karen.
Yes.
So it
Alex.
I just in that moment I just thought, in the dream I just teleported away, and when I really woke up, and I just like imagining that Karen rounding the corner and thinking, where did that little punk go?
Flexi brain to move.
Yeah, so that happened. You can't you can't insult me in my dreams now, Karen.
Until next time.
Oh
That's what I
god.
was thinking.
Oh no.
Wait for you.
Oh god. Will she appear in my dreams tonight? Oh god.
Return of the Karen.
Will, and she'll be waiting.
Ooh.
Return of the Karen. And you saw her.
Uh, so,
Noticed I got a new microphone.
oh
Yes.
yeah, I did. Really good. So, any funny stories happen to you lot recently?
Apart from walking into Cardiff when it's 30 degrees on the hottest day,
Oh god. Yeah. This
I had to walk all the way.
this previous week has been unbearable because it's been so hot.
Yeah, it's been shorts and ice cream weather for days in a row.
Ugh,
I'm kind of glad it's raining now.
I'm so
It's
jealous.
really bright for me.
For me, I can see thick clouds. We're due for rain this week. Just anything to get out of this heat.
I mean, I feel like we definitely had some really hot days recently, but
Yeah.
I feel like it was nothing compared to last summer's really hot days. I feel like it was a lot worse last summer so far, at least. But
I can't remember much.
Yeah, not
Nonetheless
all of
hot.
us can remember last summer because of lockdown. So, yeah.
So,
So, yeah. Summer, however you spend it, just try to make the best of it. And
I think
but when it's this hot, I I always have a rule: if it gets too hot, I I don't have to go outside. So because when you're inside, you've got all the shade in the world, and
Yeah.
and my parents are often complaining about it, like, oh, this weather is too nice for you to be inside. You've got to go out in it. And to that, I have my own argument. Would
I'm
you
intrigued.
would you tell a young child to go out in the middle of a blizzard, and your reasoning is, well, it only comes round once a year, go out and enjoy it?
Uh,
No, you wouldn't. If it's too cold, you don't go out in it. Same applies here. If it's too hot, you don't need to go out in it. Simple as that.
My argument is, where the heck will I go? There's nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing's open.
exactly, yeah.
Normally I just came on more.
You're listening to the TBI podcast. Well, like we brought up in the previous segment, if it's too hot, you don't need to go outside. And I've been spending my summer watching through different movies and TV shows. So, yeah, it's been glorious.
Good.
Now,
Glorious purpose.
yeah,
Ayo.
because that's one of them. Loki, season 1 has just finished wrapping up,
Yeah.
and wow, it's building up to be insane.
Agree.
So not just
And loads of people have been giving it grief.
how so.
So, people have been comparing it to recent Doctor Who for
Oh.
the problems that it has had, and saying that I'm starting to go blank again. Like, I feel like some people were saying it built up too much, and then some things don't make sense. And I assumed the reason they were giving it grief was because, without spoiling, the final episode ends with too many questions unanswered. To be fair, I was watching it. See, most finales have a big battle or something in the final episode, and then maybe you'll have a hint to what happens in the future in the credits.
Yeah.
And this finale ends on a cliffhanger, like it's a penultimate episode,
Yeah.
which is, to give them credit, I haven't seen many others do that, so I'll give them that. Like, it's different.
Yeah.
I feel like the most useful thing we learned was in the episode 3, when Loki encounters who's behind certain things, and then after that, nothing seems to get answered. It just keeps you guessing, and then you don't get the answers by the end.
Well-
So maybe we'll get those
Maybe.
answers later.
Going for a lot of people.
Maybe we'll get those answers in season 2. But if they don't deliver on those answers, then we're waiting a year for
Another
yeah,
season.
and that's Doctor Who's problem. So
Anyway.
But either way, Loki is building up the next phase of the MCU, whereas from Iron Man 1 to Avengers Endgame, that was basically the Infinity Saga. This, following Spider-Man Far From Home, is building up the multiverse saga. Because, everyone who's heard of the show will already know that there are different versions out of different characters out there, and that could very well be just the starting point. Because in the final episode of Loki, without spoiling anything, they're basically telling us that the new big bad is now out to cause chaos because of timelines and such. So it's going to be crazy. It's kind of how Infinity War how that ended on a cliffhanger, but by the time Endgame comes out, it's going to be so worth it for all these characters teaming up and such.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thoroughly excited for it. I mean, if we can get a version of Loki that's an alligator, then anything's possible.
For now, yes.
I need to clarify. Loki was amazing. I'm
Right.
not saying that it was bad. I could just see where people might have their issues with it.
Yeah.
And also, not as strong as Miss Minutes.
Oh god. I can't look at her the same way after that particular scene in episode 6. Hey y'all. You know the one.
Yeah.
No.
So, what other shows have you been looking at?
Well, I have just finished watching through Amazon Prime's show Invincible.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it's another show we can't dive too deeply into because, spoiler alert, it is brutal as heck. So violent.
Oh.
So, what would happen if one of your favorite superheroes turns out to be the most deadly adversary in the galaxy? Spoiler alert, that's the whole series in a nutshell.
Okay.
Because right out of episode 1, it is utterly shocking. But I give them credit. It's intriguing and it gets me excited for season 2, if any.
Mm.
You
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's good.
yeah.
I have not heard of.
Yeah, it's got Ben 10 Alien Force style animation, but like I've said, it is pretty brutal and violent, and especially in terms of one character in particular. But if you're the sort of person who enjoys watching One Punch Man, I think you'll enjoy this just as much.
Okay.
So it's animated then?
Yeah.
Not a live action.
Yeah. So if you wanted to see J. Jonah Jameson as a superhero, then wish granted. Because J.K. Simmons is one of the main leads. So, yeah. Have you guys seen anything interesting lately?
Saw the recent Demon Slayer movie.
Ooh.
Ah. I heard of
But-
that.
Yep.
Good.
My heart is severely damaged.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh dear. When I eventually get there, oh boy.
I checked out the Parasite anime.
Yeah. Parasite the Maxim.
Yes, it was good. I thought it was pretty good, except for the ending.
Well, it was on my anime bingo list. I saw all the way through it. It's out there. I don't exactly consider it a masterpiece, but it's still a good 20 minutes taken up. So that's out there. Oh, Rowan, also, speaking of hearts being crushed, apparently a lot of people are saying that Space Jam: A New Legacy didn't exactly hold up.
Space Jam had big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I think... Now, I've seen it for myself, and what do I think? Well, I think you need to be in the right mindset to enjoy it. Because if you're in it to see the Looney Tunes play basketball and for all the cameo characters like me, then you're going to enjoy it. Dudley,
Yeah.
if you say or think that you probably won't enjoy it, then you probably won't enjoy it. So, but
Why me? I'm curious about it.
well, it's just that I heard you saying that you weren't exactly looking forward to it because it was commercialized, like a lot of people are saying it is.
Well, I mean, I remember. I remember saying that it looked like Ready Player One, and that they're trying to fill it with a load of stuff, but they might not focus on the story. But that doesn't mean I'm right. I'm interested to see it. Like, I am gonna check it out to see if it's any good or not. Like,
Right.
but I'm optimistic to see it.
Yeah.
So,
Now, the original Space Jam didn't exactly do its best either.
No.
And the same can sort of be said for Space Jam: A New Legacy. Like, if you want a sequel to this movie that didn't exactly do well, then here we are. You get your wish. But aside from the criticism, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I've brought it up before, but I'm a sucker for good crossovers. So this just so happens to be one of them for me.
Mhm.
I think
Um,
Space Jam is one of those kinds of movies that you can only really enjoy ironically just because of how utterly out there it is. Like, I mean, Looney Tunes play basketball with Michael Jordan or LeBron James. I mean,
yeah.
they must have been throwing darts at a board full of like random words to come up with that one.
Oh no, no, that's the original Space Jam was actually based on a commercial
Oh,
because apparently it was Michael Jordan advertising different basketball things, and they thought, how can we advertise to kids as well to get them interested? And they thought Bugs Bunny, and thus
Oh.
the commercials, including Michael Jordan, Bugs Bunny, were released, and eventually the original Space Jam came into existence.
Okay.
really?
to be fair, things like you've got Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then you've got things like Space Jam, where on paper it sounds like quite a cool, funny idea. Like aliens want to steal Looney Tunes from Earth, and we'd be like, no, don't steal our Looney Tunes. And so the Looney Tunes trick them into saying, in order to take us, you have to win a game of basketball. And on paper, it sounds like a fun idea you can make jokes with, and then get Michael Jordan in. It's quite a nostalgic movie for a lot of people. And so a sequel sounds pretty interesting. Like, I think I don't actually. I don't with live action films where they have like Alvin and the Chipmunks and the
Oh, yeah.
Smurfs, and they bring them in, they give them animation and stuff. But I quite like the idea of live action films that have 2D animated characters there because they're
Yeah.
cartoon characters.
Well,
So at the moment, I
uh,
want to see that new Tom and Jerry film as well, and I haven't got around to seeing it yet. But
No.
I'm curious.
all right. Well, to be fair, in Space Jam: A New Legacy, there are a number of scenes where LeBron James is in live action and the tunes are in 2D. I think if this movie wasn't a Space Jam movie and it was based around the idea of the serververse, the Warner Brothers serververse, I think you can. I think there's a lot of potential there because, like we brought up last time, the Looney Tunes are scattered across the different multiple Warner Brothers properties, and finding them in different universes will be hilarious. And yep, indeed it was. And one of my favorites is where the Tasmanian Devil was. I won't dare spoil it here, but let's just say it is hilarious where he has been the past few years.
Okay.
The only thing I'm curious about with the new Space Jam is I want to know if the threat that's causing them all to do this is good, and I want to see how well they stop it. And that's the rest is awesome. If they've got all these cameos and stuff in the background, like Ready Player One, it's like it's cool. But my point is, if they're bringing in, it's weird putting in. Oh, like it's like Where's Wally? Like, oh, there's Fred Flintstone in the background. Oh, there's Jabberjaw in the background, but then you never see them again. They don't play a part, and it's like, how do you balance it all out?
Well, once again, going to these different properties is pretty cool. Like I
That
say,
sounds funny.
if it wasn't a Space Jam movie and entirely about the serververse and just how this system works and what the characters within them do and where they end up, I think it could have been a lot better. But because it's a Space Jam movie, they of course have to go the basketball route, which is fine. If you want to see that, then you're gonna get it. All in all, if you're in the right mindset to see Space Jam: A New Legacy, then you're gonna enjoy it.
You are listening to the TBI show.
Well, it's that time again for the month's most ridiculous headlines.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
Okay,
Making music.
in this month's news, and probably the most iconic story, Chinese officials use roadblocks and tempting snacks to try and redirect the infamous herd of wandering elephants. So, in case you're not aware, the internet has fallen in love with this herd of Asian elephants in China that have wandered free from their exhibit and are now just wandering across China trying to find a new home. And it is precious.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's
because
like the premise to a Disney movie that won't be made.
yeah, that I'd paid
Kind
us.
of the idea behind that dinosaur movie.
Hmm.
What was it called?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it does sound like dinosaur. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
straight up called Dinosaur. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if you meant that or the dinosaur Pixar film for a second. So I was like, this one.
So yeah, there's just been a ton of headlines about these elephants just wandering free, like how they've been trying to find a new home for themselves, and how after 500 kilometers, people have just found them sleeping, having gone through such a long trip. So, yeah, where will they end up next? Will they find their new home? Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
If you ever find a home.
Well, I mean, it's Asia. They've got all the opportunities in the world.
True.
Okay.
I forgot to pack my trunk.
Oh.
Oh no.
Okay. Moving on to the next headline. A monastery adopts an adorable stray dog who now lives with them like a friar.
That sounds adorable.
Yeah.
Did they shave the very top of the dog's head? Please tell me they did.
Unfortunately no, and for good reason. For good reason, because this dog is also a schnauzer.
Oh.
Oh, that would just make it even funnier.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
So yeah, I'm just looking at this picture now. He's wearing their robe. He's wearing a miniature robe, and he's apparently been named Friar Bigoton, which means brother mustache.
Okay.
Love it.
Oh, just looking at him, it's so precious.
Please send the picture to us after.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It makes me wonder what he does around the monastery. Like, do you reckon he joins in their choir by howling? Yeah.
Ominous.
Maybe once they start singing Doremi, he starts howling along with them.
Must be trained well.
Yeah, but still, Brother Mustache, I'd pray to him. Okay. Here's the next headline. A man named Glenn was told to take pictures of filters. That way, ladies would find him more attractive. And unfortunately, he mistook this and started taking pictures of himself with pool filters. Yeah, not that type of filters, mate. We mean the app camera filters. So,
Oh, silly.
so yeah, there's quite a number of pictures of just this guy holding up different pool filters with a confused face, like. What are your thoughts on that?
Crazy.
Miscommunication?
Well, when you just say take pictures of filters, then people are going to take that rather too literally.
Reminds me of that Vine of this guy taking pictures of himself with a bunch of coffee filters on his face.
Oh.
No filter. I'm beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Oh, Jesus. This next headline, I have no words for.
Uh-oh.
Now brace yourselves, because it requires your utmost attention.
Oh no.
Built this up.
Police investigating the discovery of a human foot on a footpath in New Waltham, Northeast Lincolnshire, have asked women who have had their left foot amputated since 2014 to get in touch.
Slightly bigger problem here.
I mean, you can't just go around asking that, like, "Hey guys, I found a foot. It's not mine."
Surely you can tell if
I feel like there's a bigger issue in that area.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Like, no murder or anything. Just ask any woman who's had their foot amputated from 6 years ago to step forward and say, "Is this yours?"
Step forward.
What?
Is that literally the reason they're being called? Because they want to see if it's theirs?
Yeah, pretty much.
Will that DNA be on it now?
Jeez. I mean,
Yeah, no, my foot fell off. I've been looking for it for years.
sheesh, how can it last that long?
Can I have it back?
I mean,
Was it like a French foot? Because if that's the case, I don't think you should be going all the way back to 2014.
jeez. It's just going to be bones if that's going to be the case. Or,
Where the police found it, the police robots.
oh,
Foot missing, must find owner.
police robots.
That would actually make sense.
Jeez. Ugh. Just another item in the lost and found bin.
One thing to think you find the person, it's like, the person's just like, oh yeah, can I have it now?
Jeez. I
I
mean, of all places, a footpath. Really? Like, did it just pop off? Like when someone was walking there?
I will hold on to my husband's foot for the rest of my life. Oh no, it fell out my handbag.
Ugh, jeez.
Oh God.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't imagine.
So, yeah, I have no words for that because that was just ridiculous.
I have.
I'm Randy Newman, and you're listening to TBI.
So not 2 nights ago, I heard some rather interesting news.
Oh?
apparently Netflix, now content with having bought the Red Wolf franchise, are now going to be making a live-action Pokemon series.
What?
Wow.
Yes, this is what I've heard, and thinking, take a leaf out of Detective Pikachu's books, this could be awesome.
Wow. I mean, they certainly have the power. But who
Yeah.
will it be? A completely original one, or will it be a remake of Ash's Journey?
Isn't that the $20 million question?
Money.
Let's hope that it's original.
Hmm.
Because if it's Ash's Journey remade, I don't think they'd ever make that. That would be such a risky thing to do.
I mean, is anyone confirmed for this series? Like, are any of the original voice actors got a say in this?
It's literally in the early stages, so no voice actors are confirmed, no story arcs are confirmed. But Veronica Taylor tweeted about it, who voiced Ash, and she was like, "Hello Netflix, I'm there to appear live action if you want me." And I'm like, oh my god, yes!
Wow. Wow.
Ash Ketchum.
Yep. OG Ash Ketchum.
I'm still waiting on my live action Pokemon spy thriller series. But I want to see car chases with Pikachu in the passenger seat. I want to see Team Rocket heists with helicopters and things. It's like, come on, I want to see it.
Wow. You know, something funny that I like to think in terms of Detective Pikachu, because because after seeing Detective Pikachu and seeing commercials for Pokemon properties in general, you know how sometimes if they're advertising a game, they often have a kid in live action playing the game, and they have CG Pikachu coming around and just saying, "Yeah, I'm here. This is what this game's all about." And when I see that CG Pikachu, now I'm just thinking, come on, guys, you can do better than that. You know, because they gave us Detective Pikachu and he looks incredible, and now we've got
Spoiled by Ryan Reynolds Pikachu.
and now we just have basic two-dimensional CG Pikachu for the commercials, and I'm like, you can do way better than that, guys, you know?
Well, this stems back to that whole thing again, doesn't it? Whether it's like, do you want to see 2D Tom and Jerry in a live action film, or do you want to see an actual cat and mouse in a live action film? It's the whole, they've proven themselves with Detective Pikachu. So, I mean, to be fair, I imagine it would be with Detective Pikachu sort of Pokemon, but I don't know. It's a good point.
Yeah. Now, currently my biggest question is, because currently I'm watching through Pokemon Journeys, the anime, and honestly, I think it's some of the best in the anime in a long time. I think it's probably one of the best series that they've produced.
See, it's funny because I've heard someone I know say it's not their cup of tea because, like, Team Rocket aren't in it enough and things like that, which is a bit like, you've got to have more Team Rocket because otherwise it's...
Well,
Carried the show.
Yeah.
well, they are experimenting a bit, and one of the few. Is it all right if I tell you a little bit about it, Dudley, if you've not seen it yet?
Okay.
Well, for this series, they are experimenting quite a bit, because you've got Ash, who of course wants to be a quote unquote Pokemon master, and you've got his partner, Go, who wants to catch one of every single Pokemon imaginable. Now, I'm sure everyone can respect Go's dream, because it's something we all strive to do within the games. And the fact that they can just go to any region they want in any episode, then that is great, because we get to see old Pokemon and old characters from the series, mind you. And
Vacations as well.
yeah, and in terms of Team Rocket, I think they appear enough that people can be satisfied. And now, instead of catching Pokemon, they instead hire Pokemon that Team Rocket have caught over the years. And so you get to see Jesse and James using all sorts of different Pokemon that they've never had in the past. And I thought, wow, this is cool.
I saw like early on James using a Tyranitar. I'm like, what? It's like,
Yeah.
so the one thing, definitely, like you say, they are definitely experimenting, and it looks exciting with some of the stuff they're addressing and things. One of which was I was doing a video about a Poké Know-How video about how I'd like to see a backstory for Pikachu. Literally, as I was uploading the video, it's like Pikachu backstory episode, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yep. So, Rowan, if you're ever interested in watching the Pokemon anime, Pokemon Journeys is a great place to start. It's all on Netflix currently, so that's out there.
I'll remember that.
So yeah, because I think it's a great place to start, because you've got Pikachu's backstory, you've got the backstory to why Ash is here and why he's teaming up with Go to do all these things. So, but just keep in mind, it is still a kid's show, so there will be some things you'll still need to put up with. So, yeah.
Didn't you also say, Dan, the intro theme song is bumping?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, the Pokemon Journeys theme song is probably... I can't tell you the amount of times I've clicked the replay button just to hear it again, because... oh my gosh, it's so good.
I'm gonna have to go and listen to it.
Yes. So, yeah. Advertising. It's what we do.
Oh yeah.
So, we're running down to our last few minutes. Does anyone want to bring up anything before we close out?
I got some rapiers from Mum from her holiday.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that, Ryan.
Before I was made to go back to take care of my gran, we were in Tinnabrook for a while, and there's this nice little antique shop that's recently opened there. And we were passing through it, and I see just sort of propped up against the window a pair of rapiers, like little, and these are like real fencing swords. I think these. When we went in, I beelined straight towards them and picked them up, tried their weight and weight. It was really nice, and I was kind of deliberating on whether or not to buy them, but we had to leave before I could make a choice. So. But I talked to my mom about it, but then I had to leave for Gran's, and guess what? They brought back from their holiday for me.
Oh.
I wonder what.
And my dad was really taken with them. He actually came over to my mum's house to come see them. We sort of played around with them in the front garden for a wee bit. And now it's just a matter of figuring out where I want to hang them.
Ooh. Yeah, because I'm sure they'll come in handy, because your training will definitely prove useful come the final Fresh vs. Snake Staff chapters. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, sorry.
I was literally about to suggest that, but now you've confirmed it might be a thing already.
Well,
I mean,
Yes,
any of
family disputes will be settled with a sword duel.
oh, I wonder.
It's the way life should be.
And since I'm training in karate, it'd be insane if me as a professional in them.
Yep. So we've got Rowan, who's becoming a dual swordswoman, and Michael becoming a karate master. What are my skill sets going to be aimed at? Well, it all depends on what sort of weapon I end up being gifted in the future. So,
And mine's definitely bad jokes.
The ultimate power.
Uh,
As the special will to make me sad instantly.
you'd be that.
Oh, God.
I think you'd be that supervillain from Planet Sketch, the one who just annoys everyone with their puns.
And meanwhile, I'm also talking to demons while doing karate at the same time. So yeah,
Well, I think we.
even as a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah. And I think with that, I think that'll bring this podcast to a close. So, we'll see you guys next time where hopefully we might have our second vaccinations and maybe Michael, you'll get your first.
Yes, hopefully soon. I think my first one is coming in August sometime. So yeah.
So, yep, anyway, with all that, hope you guys have a nice summer, and we'll see you next time. Time to say goodbye, guys.
Mama.
Summer.
Yep. See you next time. Bye.